Welcome back to the Game 7 podcast. I'm Jefferson Penrod alongside Cal Raleigh superfan Jackson Jones.
I wouldn't say superfan, but I do like Cal Raleigh. Great nickname, the Big Dumper. And I was going to see him. That's probably not the right way to say that. Cal Raleigh was playing for the Tacoma Rainiers until just this last Tuesday. And on that Tuesday, I went to a Salt Lake Bees game against the Tacoma Rainiers. And I was hoping that he wouldn't be called back up because he was on a assignment for injury. But he did, unfortunately. But the Salt Lake Bees won.
Go Bees.
Buzz, buzz. I don't know.
You don't know what their slogan is?
No.
That's fine. Go Bees, go.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out. I don't know, did you go to a lot of Bees games growing up?
I went to a few. I had a few of those like tiny wooden bats that my grandpa would buy me.
Yep, I had a wooden bat or two, but what I really would, you always get the helmet ice cream, right? Or is that just a me
Not
thing?
me personally. I've never had that.
Well, first of all, ice cream always tastes better in a helmet. But second of all, then you could take it home and then you could eat helmet ice cream all the time.
Time out. There's a lot to unpack in that. Ice cream always tastes better in a helmet. Are you saying you have to be wearing a helmet?
No, like it's a little bowl that looks like a helmet.
I understand that, but if you didn't have one of those little bowls with a helmet, would you go to your garage and like get a bike helmet and then just eat ice cream with a bike helmet on?
No. But I'm just saying ice cream out of a helmet always tastes better.
No, you're saying ice cream in a helmet.
Well, when the ice cream is in a helmet, not me in a helmet eating ice cream. There's a difference. Although that might also be the move, but what I meant was ice cream in a helmet. The ice cream is in the helmet.
See, I understand. I just like.
You just like to bully me?
No, I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm playing helmet's advocate.
Okay, I see how it is.
Yeah,
fair enough. Well, anyway, we'll move on from helmet ice cream onto what's really important. The NBA draft is just about. It's under a week away from the time that we're recording this. I'm super, super excited. Especially as Jazz fans, we're excited to see who the Jazz get. Let's see, Jackson. I have a feeling our top 4 is probably going to be the same, and then I think that's where it's going to change. Maybe.
Yep, maybe.
Top 3? Probably
maybe.
The same?
I have no idea. We'll see.
Okay, let's just go pick by pick then. I was going to see if we could ease our way out of this. But Washington Wizards have the first overall pick. You want to just say it on 3? 1, 2, 3. AJ Debinsa.
See, I was thinking that you might swap away from AJ, hoping that they would go with Darren Peterson because of all the smoke from his own camp.
This is my mock draft of what I think is going to happen, not what I could dream up. Because obviously, if I could dream up, the Jazz would get AJ, and then the Jazz would trade back into the second round and pick Darren Peterson, who magically hasn't been picked yet. But this isn't what I wish would happen draft. This is what I think is going to happen draft. So
in your wish, it would be AJ Debinsa and then trade up in the first round, Richie Saunders.
Well, I'd probably rather have Darren Peterson than Richie Saunders personally. But yeah, I get what you mean. I don't know. There has been smoke in recent days with Darren Peterson potentially going to Washington. I mean, there's been talk of Cam Boozer going to Washington. So I guess we really don't totally know. But as it stands right now, I still think AJ Debinsa is the favorite to land in Washington at the number 1 spot.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
You think it's that clear-cut that it should just be a no-brainer?
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. AJ Debinsa is the best player in the draft. I hope that they don't take him as a fan of the Utah Jazz. But it's a no-brainer. He's the best player in the draft, 100%.
So, guess we'll see what happens there. Number 2, the Utah Jazz have the second pick. I guess I can see on your screen, so I know that we have the same answer.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, Darren Peterson.
Also a no-brainer. And the Jazz would be stupid to do anything else.
It's pretty clear that between Darren Peterson and AJ Debinsa, whoever's left at 2, the Jazz will just take.
I hope. There's been a lot of talk about Cam Boozer. I actually wrote down Cam Boozer, ... I'm done. I'm done being a Jazz fan if the Jazz draft Cam Boozer.
Really?
I'm going to go straight Mammoth. I'm not going to care about the Jazz anymore because that is just the biggest fumble of a pick. That's a bigger fumble than Kalen Clay on the 1 yard line against Oregon in 2015. That is an awful decision. I don't care if Carlos Boozer is in your organization. If it's Cam Boozer, that's just the most boneheaded pick I can think of.
I don't know. My thing is, I think Cam Boozer is going to be a good player. The problem is, I think fit-wise, with how the Jazz's roster is currently built, it just doesn't make a ton of sense, which is why I definitely lean Darren Peterson or AJ Debinza, because even AJ can be a little bit more of a spacey player.
Yeah, 100%.
Than Cam Boozer could be. So I'm there with you. Now, like, am I going to take as drastic of measures as you are if the Jazz take Cam Boozer? Probably not.
See, I've just fallen out of my love for basketball. I still love basketball. I still love playing it. I still like watching it. The NBA Finals was great.
Wonderful.
I was cheering for the Knicks. But, like, hockey's so much better. Like, seriously, it's so much fun. If you haven't ever watched hockey, go and watch replays of the Stanley Cup Final. It was unbelievable. Jordan Stahl, Conn Smythe winner. Thought it could have been Mitch Marner there for a little bit, but go watch hockey. Just go watch hockey.
All I'll say is the Vegas hate watch was very successful, and that's all. That's all I cared about.
Not big Vegas fans.
Okay, number 3, Memphis has. Oh, you're just throwing up a test up. Okay. Number 3, Memphis has the third overall pick. Where do you think Memphis goes here, Jackson?
I'm going with Caleb Wilson, just because I don't like Cam Boozer. And it's not to say that I don't think Cam Boozer's a great player. I think when you have a guy like Cam Boozer, he kind of negates all the upside of a guy like Zach Edey, who needs room to grow. Caleb Wilson can be a scorer. You just traded Jaren Jackson. If you're going to try and do something with Jaw still for a little bit, I feel like Caleb Wilson fits the system better than Cam Boozer.
I think Memphis will still end up going Cam Boozer. I don't know. Honestly, I think what Memphis needs now is some form of consistency. And Cam Boozer, if he doesn't maybe have the highest ceiling, I think will be a very consistent NBA player. And so that's maybe because Memphis isn't in the same situation. Well, Washington's in a goofy situation. Well, I guess so are the Jazz. But like Memphis isn't where no one on their team has potential. I think Cam Boozer would fit with organizationally what Memphis is trying to do right now. But I guess we'll see. So number 4, the Chicago Bulls have the 4th pick, and I have them going with Caleb Wilson. I think Caleb Wilson's a super interesting prospect. Obviously freaky athletic, great scorer. I think that he can spearhead Chicago. Excuse me. Whoa. I think he can spearhead Chicago's return to actually being a relevant team instead of just, in that play-in bubble constantly that they've been the last, what seems like 10 years.
Yeah, for sure. I have Cam Boozer. I think that he is a very reliable player. I just don't think his ceiling is as high as the rest of those 3 guys. I think those 3 guys have a higher ceiling, and I'm looking straight off potential in those picks, I think Cam Boozer has the lowest ceiling out of all of them. But he's not a bad player, and that's where his dad used to play, so I feel like it just makes sense.
I mean, obviously, I think some players in the top 4 fit better than others, but I think you can't necessarily go wrong in the top 4. So
you can if you're Utah and you pick Cam Boozer,
and if you want Jackson's ticket money. So
yeah, not that it really matters because they cost like $6, but
well, they'll probably cost a little more than $6 next year.
Not if they draft Cam Boozer.
Oh. Well, here's where I think it gets more muddled. I think the top 4, no matter their order, has kind of been cemented for a while. And now I think is where you start to have some interesting conversations. So the Clippers, Los Angeles Clippers, have the 5th pick. Where do you think that they go?
I'm going to go Keaton Wagler here for no specific reason other than he's also a very good player. I've also seen him mocked here a lot. I also have put here that I feel like that he's a consensus top 5 pick as number 5.
Gotcha. Well, that's awkward because I don't have him at 5th. I have Mikal Brown Jr. from Louisville, who was kind of dealing with injury. Are you? Hey, no, don't look.
You're looking right at mine.
Well, because yours isn't turned. If you don't want me to look, then
you'll still look.
Hey, all right. Anyway, Mikel Brown Jr. from Louisville, who played very well. Like if you go back to the U19 FIBA team that all these guys played on, but all the freshmen played on before their last year of college, or last year before their first and last year of college. He was the leading scorer, and he but didn't maybe have the best season because of injury at Louisville. But I still think he has that potential. And I mean, no matter where, I think the Clippers just need a guard to pick up from the James Harden slack and complement Darius Garland.
For sure.
So, okay, the Brooklyn Nets have the 6th pick, and where do you have them going here?
Darius Acuff. And I also have on here, not to be Jazz-centered here, but if we don't draft Darren Peterson, I think the only other option is to trade down to 6 and draft Darius Acuff. Okay.
Why?
Because the Jazz need a guard. There's no reason to draft a big man.
That's fair. The thing
I love Darius Acuff, by the way.
Yeah.
I love what he does for Brooklyn. Defensive guard who can also score. I mean, I think he's a very underrated player in this draft. Even though he's going 6th, I think he could have gone higher.
I think if this draft just wasn't super top heavy, he definitely would be a higher pick. We'll see where Darius Acuff goes in mine in a second. I've got Nate Ament going here to the Brooklyn Nets, and it's just because if you look at the Nets draft last year, they had they took like 3 point guards. And so I think partially their fan base might explode if they take another point guard. But just to fill out the rest of their front court, I think Nate Ament kind of makes sense there. Plus, I mean, he's just also very athletic. And in the NBA, you kind of can't get enough of super athletic tall guys, So,
yeah, that's for sure.
That's kind of where I'm going.
See, I will say I'm not super prepared for this mock draft. I had like the first 6 or 7. But after that, like I'm really not.
So cooked.
I really don't. I was looking at a lot of mock drafts, and I just picked players who I knew who were high. So I don't have lots of explanations for why these people are going to these teams. Like I said, I'm really struggling to stay in the basketball.
To be fair, you weren't the biggest college basketball watcher, being that you are
or an NBA watcher. The NHL is happening at the same time. Why would I watch the basketball when I could watch the hockey?
Because the basketball's good too, Jackson.
I'm not saying it's not good. I'm just saying it's worse.
Agree to disagree on that one. But Sacramento has the 7th pick, and this is where I have Darius Acuff going, because I'm also very high on his potential and what he can bring to the table. And I think Sacramento, granted, 7th pick Sacramento guards is maybe not always the best spot. Shout out Jimmer Fredette.
But he's a hooper.
He is a baller. But I think Acuff could provide a spark to Sacramento, especially a team that's just got a lot of old guys. I think if you bring in a young player, hungry player, talented guy, that could spark Sacramento into being something other than what they've been the last forever,
For the same reasons I have Kingston Flemings.
Kingston Flemings also very good. Go Kings.
Go Kingston Flemings.
Sounds like a branding campaign waiting to happen.
It is, probably.
So, shout out.
Because that's who they're drafting, because I said so.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. At the 8th spot, the Atlanta Hawks. Who do you got here?
Did you see?
No.
Yaxel Lindenberg, Michigan. I just like his game. I like him a lot. And I think that you pair him with a developed Zachary Ricochet. It's a pretty dominant front court. Not a lot of teams can match that.
I actually agree with you.
Oh, nice.
I think, he wasn't super on my radar as well, being that all these guys are like freshmen and he's a senior. But I think, especially watching how he played down the stretch in March Madness and the conference tournament and all that. I think, especially to an Atlanta team who, I mean, surprised a lot of people. Remember, they beat the Knicks twice in the playoffs, and no other team was able to win more than one. So I think they're not super far away. The Hawks did have some lottery luck, so I think just building onto that front court and then maybe picking up a couple players in free agency could make a big difference for them.
For sure, and CJ played really well as well.
CJ
Nickel
McCollum
Alexander Walker
looked
really, really good most of the season as well. So
and Jonathan Kuminga, without the leash of Steve Kerr, also looked good. So I think the Hawks are super, super interesting, and I think they've got some things cooking here.
Especially when you land that lottery luck right there.
Yep.
Speaking of lottery luck.
Number 9, the Dallas Mavericks. Is that what you were referencing, Jackson?
The beginning of my downfall as a Jazz fan.
What, last year?
Yeah.
Dude, we were in St. George on a trip
with some friends.
Yes. Weird goofy trip for a lot of reasons, but that was one of them that we
you know who you know what we're talking about.
Those that were there. But we all watched the lottery and we were all super excited. And listen, Ace Bailey's great, but we wanted Cooper Flagg, and to see the Mavericks jump up and get him after the Luka trade, it was devastating. Devastating. I still don't think Jackson's mentally recovered from that.
I'm not. Coop is so good. So good. Anyway, Braden Berries, Arizona, also played very well down the stretch until that Michigan game. Shot 40% from 3. I think that a little bit of guard play could be useful, especially with Kyrie Irving in limbo right now for the Dallas Mavericks.
I also have Braden Berries going here, not just because of that. I think he fits really well. I mean, obviously with a player like Cooper Flagg, if you get shooters around him, that's basically what you need in an offense based around Cooper Flagg.
Opens up the floor.
Floor spacing becoming increasingly important in the NBA nowadays. But also, there's just been links with him working out for Dallas and Dallas really liking him. So I think this is where they go. And then number 10, a team that's got a lot of very interesting things going on here, which we'll get to in a minute. That's what they call a deep tease in the news business, is the Milwaukee Bucks, who have the 10th pick in this draft. Where do you have Milwaukee going here?
I have Milwaukee going with Mikal Brown Jr. from Louisville. Talked about earlier, struggled to stay healthy in college in Louisville. I think Milwaukee could very much use a point guard like this, or just a guard like Mikal Brown Jr., especially with looming concerns about other players on your roster. Having a guy like this who has very big boom potential just sitting there for you at 10 is like a blessing. It's a no-brainer.
For very, very similar reasons, I have Kingston Flemings going to Milwaukee. I mean, I think Kingston Flemings maybe doesn't have the same boom potential that some of these other players have, but has a very, very high floor. I mean, if you're able to, as a true freshman, to go in and do in the Houston system what Kingston Flemings did, you're going to be successful in the NBA. I mean, high motor, plays great defense, can score. I also think he, again, I'm probably going to be wrong, yes, but I think in this scenario, him falling to 10 is more about fit with certain other teams, but I don't think that necessarily reflects. I think he has, top 5 player. He's a top 5 pick level player. So that's who I've got Milwaukee picking up. But any other draft things that you're looking out for, Jackson, with the NBA? Or are you looking at me like like I'm speaking a foreign language here?
You were speaking German. Did you realize
Ich konnte diese Frage auf Deutsch
stellen. Okay, yeah, we're done with that. No. I'm ready to hang up the Jazz jersey if we go Cam Boozer.
But I'm also ready to get very, very excited for the Jazz next season. assuming we pick one of AJ Demancey or Darren Peterson.
I agree.
Jazz looks super interesting. We'll talk about that later at some point. We've got time. We've got like months till the season starts.
And we'll address it a little bit today.
As well. Another preview of things to come. So I'm super excited. I think they split the first and second round into 2 separate days because they wanted to increase the drama of the first round. And so I think we didn't mock any trades in our top 10. I think there are trade potential, especially with how loaded of a class this is, of teams not in the lottery getting up into the lottery.
For sure.
So interesting to see where this one goes. But I'm excited for the draft, but also just for the NBA season. But the finals, not to go off on a tangent again, but I think the NBA finals for me was just like a reminder of why the NBA can be great and what's so fun about the NBA. Your dad maybe disagrees a little bit, but
my dad disagrees with a lot of things. Love you, Dad. But you're going to be talked about again on this episode before it's over.
Don't worry, Ryan. We're
if you're listening to this.
If you're listening to this. Hey, we read the group chat.
We do. You should listen to our podcast.
Come on.
Shame.
Anyways, well, we will be back here in just a second. We're trying out something new that I'm excited about. It's not like one other big segment, but we're just going to talk about a couple different things and should be fun. So yeah, stay tuned. We'll be back in just a second. Oh, that was a terrible ending. Let me try that again for the people at home. So we've got some other things coming up. We got World Cup, basketball news, MLB, all sorts of fun stuff. Talking about our group chat with Jackson's dad in it. Great stuff coming up on the other end of the break, so stay tuned. After too long of a break, we're back.
And better than ever.
Here's what's new with us.
First, the Game 7 podcast is now on video. In addition to seeing us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, we're on YouTube. Go subscribe and make sure you're following us on Instagram at the Game 7 Podcast for all the content that will be there.
In addition to weekly episodes of the Game 7 Podcast, Crunch Time with Jeffy, aptly named, will be back with episodes twice a week. Follow along with all of that content at Crunch Time with Jeffy.
We also have a website. Find a link in our bio to see all the content there.
Including what we're calling the Replay Center. That's where you'll find articles we'll occasionally write about things that we don't necessarily cover in the podcasts.
We've also got more in the works, so stay tuned for that.
In short, it's good to be back.
Let's keep it that way.
Welcome back to the Game 7 podcast. What? You look all surprised.
We didn't talk about Myles Garrett.
Oh, whoa. Calling an audible here. Well, let's start with that then. So Myles Garrett.
You can see the moment that it I don't know if you can do this, but instant replay if you can. The moment that it hits my brain, and I'm just like, I hate that happened.
What? That Myles Garrett got traded? Or?
Yeah, Myles Garrett got traded.
Why?
Because the Seahawks are my team.
Oh.
And that makes my division harder. Although, I do think Jared Verse is better than Myles Garrett in the long run, and that might just be my wishful thinking as a Seahawks fan. But in case you missed it, in case you've been living under a rock, Myles Garrett, Defensive Player of the Year, recently broke the all-time single-season sack record with the Cleveland Browns, was traded to the Los Angeles Rams for Jared Verse and a box of chips.
Box of chips being a first-round pick, right?
Yeah, and then a conditional pick that could turn into a first-round pick.
Because the NFL's weird with trades like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll talk about this in a second. I think this might have some parallels to a potential Giannis situation as well. But Myles Garrett finally got out of Cleveland, probably to a place that Jackson hoped that he didn't go. But I think, again, this just makes the NFC West so much more interesting. The Rams are going to be really interesting. I mean, there was the whole draft controversy with them taking Ty Simpson versus
a player that could help them win now.
Matt Stafford. Yeah, Matt Stafford at the tail end of his prime, tail end of his career. So super interesting. But yeah, Myles Garrett was traded. We haven't talked about that.
Yeah, and I will say it feels kind of like the 2018 Lakers or 19 Lakers, if you remember. When LeBron left for the Lakers, they brought in like Carmelo Anthony and J.R. Smith and DeAndre Jordan and Russell Westbrook. It was
and Lance Stevenson, unless we forget Lance Stevenson.
So it was just like all of the players that were like slightly out of their prime. And this is my theory, actually. I think that this was something the NFL was trying to get done.
Are you going to
I'm not
tinfoil hat
I'm
territory?
not going tinfoil hat. I'm not going conspiracy theory. I'm just saying when this was proposed, the NFL definitely was like, let's push this a little bit. If you look at all the leagues, right, you have, I guess not the NHL, but you have a premier Los Angeles team. The Dodgers have won back-to-back World Series. The Lakers have been the team in LA for a long time. But in football, you didn't have that. Because these were two teams. I mean, the Rams started in LA, and then they moved to St. Louis, and they moved back to LA, right? Mm-hmm. And then you have the Chargers, who started in San Diego, and then they moved to LA. So you have two LA teams that have moved in the past 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
So none of them were that team.
I mean, the Rams are probably more so than the Chargers.
But now the Rams really are.
And that's been the thing is even though, again, the Rams were in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. They won the Super Bowl a couple years ago. But even still, they aren't like the big thing in LA. I mean, consistently away fans take over SoFi. So we'll see if this pushes that in the direction of making more Rams fans and making the Rams a bigger commodity. So tinfoil hat on or off. Off now. Not trying to say
that it's conspiracy theory, but I don't think the NFL was mad about it at all, especially right after Trent McDuffie.
So, do you think I'm putting you on the spot here, Jackson? Do you think that Myles Garrett, like, is there a potential that we see an offensive player of the year and a defensive player of the year / MVP, or defensive player of the year plus offensive player of the year / MVP on the same team with the Rams?
No. I don't think so. I mean, there's a possibility. I don't want to say there's not a possibility because there is. The Rams are really good. But I also think when you have that many players that have that potential, the spotlight's taken away. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Especially on the Rams defense, you have guys like Trent McDuffie, and you still have Byron Young on the line, right? You have Poona Ford and Kobe Turner. Maybe Kobe Turner's gone. No, I think he's still there. It's the defensive back that also had a name similar to that left. But you still have a pretty star-studded defense other than Myles Garrett. That's going to take away from them. I mean, any team that plays Myles Garrett's going to put 2 on them, and those other defenders are going to be more in the spotlight. And then,
whereas in Cleveland, Myles Garrett was like the defense.
He's the only reason the Browns were relevant other than Baker Mayfield in the last 20 years.
So, what about Shedeur?
Dang it.
Your watch is off?
Yeah.
Side tangent, the Browns quarterback room between Shedeur and Deshaun Watson might be kind of interesting to see how that plays out. But side note, let's go back to what we actually had planned. And you had a story out of the MLB, Jackson.
I did. If you guys haven't heard about this, I hope that you have, because it's insane. One of the greatest games from a pitcher ever that's not a no-hitter, okay?
Okay.
Because he did give up 1 hit. Jacob Misiorowski, the pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers, the best pitcher in baseball right now. I don't think that's even arguable. You could say Yoshinobu Yamamoto is up there.
Who, by the way, the other day also just had a no-hitter going through the 8th inning.
Yes. There's a few pitchers you could put up there. I mean, also just talent-wise. But Jacob Misiorowski is the best pitcher in the MLB. 9 innings pitched. I believe this was it was on Saturday. I don't know what day that was. The 13th, maybe. Had a full complete game. 9 innings. 15 strikeouts. Which, by the way, 27 at-bats.
So over half.
Over half of the batters were retired on a strikeout. 1 hit the entire game. The fastest recorded pitch in MLB history, 105 miles per hour. And by the way, this wasn't like the Colorado Rockies that they were playing. This was the Phillies, who have one of the best hitting lineups in the in Major League Baseball. Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, who had the hit, Adolis Garcia, and Trey Turner all were put up and put down.
Definitely very impressive. I'm trying to get more into baseball. The World Cup's distracting me a little bit, which we'll talk about the World Cup here momentarily. But, I mean, the interesting thing is, like, baseball is more of a numbers type game. It's like box score watching is kind of frowned upon, but it's less frowned upon in baseball. And so I didn't see this live, but those numbers are incredible and super hard to get. So props to Miz.
Like the craziest thing about baseball is you say one hit and you're like, oh well, dang, the no hitters, that's not really a thing anymore. You can't say you had one hit because it's not a no hitter, it's a one hitter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we were talking about it earlier, the Bees game last night. As it was recorded, it was last night.
Hopefully I'll put this up tonight.
But yeah. Anyway, I seriously was like, what are the odds there's a no hitter in this game? Miz did it. There's it can't be that hard. Second pitch, there's a hit. It's for there to be one of those for a whole 9 innings for an entire team, let alone the Phillies, that's just unbelievable. So, Jacob Mizorowski, if he wasn't on your radar, look him up because he is the real deal.
Perfect. Next thing is, as I just mentioned, the World Cup's going on, and there's kind of been two major stories. One of them is actually the matches on the pitch. See, look, I'm using soccer terminology. Shout out Emma, our resident soccer ball knower.
I didn't shout out my baseball guy. Okay. Shout out HP. Sorry, continue.
Anyway, so we'll talk about the actual results on the pitch here in a second. But there's been another fun side to the World Cup, and that has been the thing that's always fun about the World Cup is everyone from different places in the world coming together and experiencing things in the host country, which in this case is America. So tell me about some of your favorite things that you've seen, and I'll talk about some of my favorite as well.
I'll leave you the big boy. I'm going to talk about two things. The Dutch taking over the Fort Worth area was just insane. You just have parades of fans in orange. And they brought a bus. I was telling Jeffy about this before we hit record here. They put a big orange bus that they have at the games in
the Netherlands.
The Netherlands. I know it's the Netherlands.
Oh, okay.
I just was spacing.
Okay, my bad.
And
I'll trust you.
Yeah, no, yeah, dude. I did go. I did have not left the United States, but I know my stuff.
All right,
most of the time. And they put it on a boat, a Freightliner, and they shipped it to Galveston, and then they drove it to Fort Worth, and they have this bus there now. It's it was a whole parade right before their first game, and then also Scotland did a similar thing outside of Fenway, where they had a whole march with bagpipes all the way to Fenway. It's fun to see these fans bring cultures, but it's also fun to see fans experience our culture.
And one of the most poignant examples of this on Twitter/X is a guy by the name of Freddie. Now, I'm a little partial to Freddie myself because Freddie's German. But Freddie, just kind of out of nowhere, has sprung to being this super viral guy, this phenomenon. And it was just him experiencing random stuff that he's doing in America, the fast food places. He's gotten so many crazy connections. It's kind of blown up. JJ Watt put them up in a hotel, got them a bunch of stuff, got them a signed jersey. They got a tour of NASA, and this was, I think, either yesterday or today, got a tour of NASA and the thing that just was up around the moon. The module. Yeah. They FaceTimed the International Space Station. And they are they're celebrities basically everywhere they go.
Well, and they tweeted a week ago about they turned on the radio and Ella Langley was on the radio, and they were like, man, Ella Langley's awesome. They're going to her concert in Oklahoma City. I think it's tonight.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
they don't have to pay for it. like the Houston Astros and the Houston police station like raided their hotel room last night and gave them a bunch of free stuff.
They went to an Astros game. They got like a personal signed note from the mayor of Houston. So anyway, all sorts of random stuff. But Freddie definitely has been one of my favorite things about the World Cup. But let's also talk about the games that are being played. There's been some fun things going on the pitch as well. So take it away, Jackson.
On the pitch, we have, first off, the GOAT. Said it was his last World Cup last time, but he's returned to the Argentina side and had a hat trick in his first game in Kansas City.
Arrowhead Stadium, by the way, was bumping.
It was not Arrowhead Stadium. It's Kansas City Stadium.
Sorry. Kansas City Stadium.
How dare you?
Hey,
how absolutely dare you?
Hey, the play-by-play guy said Arrowhead Stadium on the broadcast.
Yeah, he's gonna get a letter.
FIFA's coming after him
from FIFA. Yeah, he's the GOAT.
Well, and that came on the day when everyone was like, okay, so Erling Haaland scored twice, and then Kylian Mbappe scored twice.
Well, and Kylian Mbappe, like, broke a record of Messi's. I don't remember what it was. I saw a reel about it. It was the clip from Monsters Incorporated of Randall breaking Sully's scare record and then Sully taking it right back. I don't remember what the record was. I mean, soccer people will know what it is, but
anyway, and then
you were staring at me like I was speaking in tongues.
Sorry. And then to top it up with the nightcap, Messi with a hat trick. That was incredible to see. The U.S. looking good.
4-1 against Paraguay. Christian Pulisic did have a goal, but went out at the half and has been practicing apart from the team. So hopefully he's ready for Friday.
Hopefully he's okay. I did buy a Christian Pulisic jersey, so shout out Captain America. And the other thing is there's been so far, how many ties have there been so far?
9 as of Wednesday, the 17th of June.
Unless
at 6:35 p.m. Mountain Standard Time.
I was going to say, unless there's been another tie. I don't think so, since we started.
No, I don't think a game would be over by now.
Yeah,
Panama and Ghana are in the 74th minute, and it's tied 0-0.
So this could be 10 by the time that we this goes up. But ties have been there's been some electric ties, which maybe you don't agree with as much, but the Spain Cape Verde tie, absolutely electric. Because ties are basically a win for the smaller team. But there's been a fun side of that, and we return now to Jackson's dad in our group chat.
Ties are stupid. I'm sorry, all the soccer fans. I get that they're important for standings and in the Prem and in the World Cup. They're dumb. We need to get rid of them. Ties are not the way that sporting events are supposed to end. It's just not how it's supposed to go. I'm sorry if that's upsetting to anyone, but it's true. There should be a winner and a loser. My dad, though, Brian Jones, shout out. Shout out.
Oh, shout out.
He has been tracking the ties, and
because he feels strongly like you do that ties shouldn't exist.
Yes, and now he's cheering for the ties just for the memes, and he's keeping track of them in percentages. He says there was some number, I don't know, I think it was like there's 52 group stage games. I don't know if that's right or if there's that many remaining or whatever. And he was like, this many needed to break the record, and then it was like this many to make it 50%, and he titled that For Ultimate Glory. But yeah, as an American, it's really, ties shouldn't be a thing. I'm sorry for the football fans. It's not really football. It's not real football.
Careful, Jackson.
I'm sorry for anyone who disagrees with me. I would be happy if people disagree with me. If you're in America, it's called soccer. And if you call it football, then you're talking about the wrong sport. You're talking about the superior sport, which is football. You know?
Sure.
I'm trying to think of something football related that I can say. Wide Eddie.
How's that?
Green 18. Green 18 tonight.
Great hard.
Can.
Shout
Green 18.
Great cadence, by the way.
That's Aaron Rodgers, actually.
Shout out Rodgers, Rom. So World Cup's been fun, and it's replaced my watching of the NBA. But just because the games are over doesn't mean that there can't be some NBA news. Leading it, as has been a topic of conversation for what seems like 12 years at this point, Giannis Antetokounmpo maybe is going to get traded out of Milwaukee. So what are you hearing, Jackson? I say as if you have sources. What have you been reading online from those that do have sources?
Just that I think Milwaukee's hoping to get a trade done before the draft or during the draft. Kind of start building a new core. Not sure that's going to happen because, like Jeffy just said, it's been talked about for years. And there's not really much more to talk about with Giannis except for that it's probably going to happen soon. So keep your eye out for it.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. There's been a lot of talk about him going to Boston. There's been talk about him going to Miami, but recently there's a secret mystery team that has come into the running, and it's so secret that no one has said who the secret mystery team is. Ooh.
The Jazz.
That would be insane. There's no way.
Yeah, we just got Jaren. There's no reason to.
No. Would be insane, though. We just imagine if there's a way to get it. Well, so here's why. Because I think a lot of packages right now are pick heavy, which kind of makes sense because the Bucks don't really have the best draft capital over the next 5 to 10 years. But I think any potential Giannis trade has to have a good, solid superstar player coming to Milwaukee because, especially because they don't really control their draft capital. And it would be more of a rebuild, or not more of a reset than a rebuild. I don't think Milwaukee is in a great position for a rebuild, but more of a reset and retooling I think they can do. So look out for other big names to be on the move besides Giannis in a Giannis trade.
Jaylen Brown, I'm looking at you.
And he's looking at the refs to complain.
And in the mirror at the black paint that he's putting on his head. Listen, go to Turkey or just rock it. You know what I mean? That's what I got to say about that.
I mean, LeBron's been fighting that battle for a long time, too, with all due respect.
Yeah, but he's not painting people's undershirts, so.
Anyways.
Walker Kessler. I wouldn't say this is like the biggest of NBA news, but for us here in the state and for people who care about the NBA draft, this is kind of a big deal. If Walker Kessler were to be traded or something along those lines, it could affect who the Jazz draft their pick or what they do with their pick.
Yes. I was waiting for you to expound on that.
Okay, I'll expound.
Not saying I disagree, but I was just waiting.
If you have Walker Kessler on your team, there's no reason to draft a big man, right? Guards are the only thing you should be looking at, which is the reason why I said earlier, Darren Peterson or Darius Acuff. Those are my guys. If you trade Walker Kessler, it gets a little bit different because then you probably have Jaren playing the 5 and you have Lowry playing the 4, and you can put Ace or a forward, or you can move Lowry back to the 3 if you want to put a guy like Cam Boozer or Caleb Wilson or just a bigger guy there in that spot. Or you make a trade package entirely that's not around that. I heard one of my coworkers say maybe Herb Jones is a target from the Pelicans. Try and trade Walker there, and then you end up, or Lowry there. You end up bringing in these players. So this Walker Kessler news really just kind of sparks a lot of draft number 2 overall pick rumors for lots of teams.
And with that being said, I think this will end up being rather anticlimactic. I think the Jazz will just get a deal done of some sort with Walker Kessler, and we're going to kind of avoid all of this. But interesting to speculate about. But my personal opinion is it's just going to get done and it's going to be okay.
See, what I was thinking was, it sounds like Walker is really upset. I know he just posted on Instagram, I think as we've been recording this, that he likes being in Utah and you don't plant roots where you want to leave. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But there's a big but there. I think that $28 million a year for a guy like Walker Kessler, who is a solid center but has no All-Star appearances, is a lot. It's a lot. And I don't think anyone else will offer him $28 million. And so if he doesn't want to sign that deal, I think if you're the Jazz, you just say, all right, well then we'll just see what other people offer you. Like we're not going to extend you any more than that.
I think $28 million is probably the cap. So I would be shocked, especially with a potential extension for Keontae George coming up. I would be shocked if he gets offered anything above $28 million.
I did see someone I know that's close to me, said they'd be willing to offer him up to $33 million a year, and I think that's a little rich.
It's a little
rich for my blood.
Well, it would make him 28 already would make him the highest paid non-All-Star center.
Yes.
Whereas the lowest
ever,
and the lowest paid All-Star center is 35. So I think somewhere in that range, but 30 would probably be my high cap. But what I would do is if he's really worried about making all that money, I would put in, again, I'm not like the smartest guy when it comes to contracts, but I would put in some big incentives and say, if you go out and you make an All-Star team or you win Defensive Player of the Year, then you get an extra like $3-4 million.
And you can work up to $32 million.
So,
but still, to quote Ted Lasso and to quote his doctor, when he got addicted to fettuccine Alfredo, that's a little rich for my blood. So
shout out Ted Lasso. Well, I liked this, Jackson. I like just talking about a bunch of random stuff.
I did too. We'll have to do it again.
Yeah. We'll have to just actually like record episodes consistently too.
Yeah. Well, it's been hard, but yeah. Work schedule's been hard.
We'll lock in. Shout out Strawberry Days.
Yep.
Well, any other sports things that you want to drop or shout out or anything like that?
I want to shout out my boy HP for getting me into baseball. Jeffy said he's replaced his basketball time with the World Cup, and I'm quite the opposite. I've replaced my hockey time with baseball. So shout out HP, Hunter Powell, and the Utah Mammoth are winning the Stanley Cup next year.
I wouldn't be mad if that happened. You got
let me call you the Conn Smythe right now. Logan Cooley.
Okay.
Yep.
Cools.
Yep.
You got a rapid fire World Cup winner.
Argentina.
Oh, back to
back.
Title defense.
Yep.
That would be interesting. I'm gonna be. Where do I want to go? Well, why not? Germany. Sue me. You can take the Jeffy out of Germany. You can't take the Germany out of Jeffy.
You want a little like low key could win it all, because I feel like they got the mojo, like super underrated. I guess not super underrated, but could win it all because they have the magic.
Who?
Norway.
Oh, Erling Haaland, first World Cup.
Yep.
Guess we'll see. Which, by the way, we're inching closer to another tie for Ryan, as Ghana and Panama are in the 86th minute, still tied 0-0. So you watching this later will already know the result of that. But
you'll know if my dad is freaking out, making it 10 ties in the World Cup so far.
So
USA
could make a deep run too. We'd need some magic.
Did you see?
Okay,
last thing I'll talk about with the World Cup.
All right.
Did you see if USA makes it to the round of 16 and England makes it to the round of 16, the United States would play England on the 4th of July
in Philly, where the all that stuff
the
went
Declaration
down.
of Independence was signed,
and the Constitutional Convention. So it might be fate, but it might also not happen. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
It would also be embarrassing if we lost to England on the 4th of July.
That would be tough.
That would be bad.
But again, I honestly didn't think the USA would have a shot. I still think they're a very dark horse. But after seeing that Paraguay match, I was talking to Emma and Daniel about it. Shout out Daniel and Emma. And I said, for all of my life, again, I'm not like the biggest soccer guy, but like I like to think I know my way around it. It felt like the U.S. was playing soccer, but you could if you took away the jerseys, you'd be able to tell it was the U.S. Whereas I feel like this year, from some of the tune-up matches, and especially that match against Paraguay, if you were to take away the jerseys, you would think like their play style was that of more of a traditional soccer team. So football, if you will.
Yep. No, see, I'm correcting you, and you're worried about me getting attacked by people online listening to our podcast.
Yeah, all 2 people that listen.
We love you.
We love you, listeners. Thank you. And that will wrap things up for this episode of the Game 7 podcast. Make sure you're following along on Instagram at the Game 7 Pod. If you're here on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe.
On YouTube.
On YouTube. Hey, that works for the Jazz and Mammoth, just not for the University of. Make sure you're following if you're listening here on podcasts. And until then, we'll see you next time.
Peace.